Hey everyone, it's Joe here from ActionX, fresh in the morning. I want to say, like, realistically, I probably just stood here for like 9 hours just waiting for the review to start, but it's saying live, so who really cares? Hey everyone, again, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your 10th The Rookie Feds episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great holiday season, and welcome back. New episode review time again, huh? That was fast. Yeah, so it was a very chill holiday. I'm a little bit more flexible now with my time since we're the rookie side of things. Yesterday was a little bit of on a crunch. Actually, what's funny is that literally when I ended the recording for the review is when the DVR playback for Feds immediately was forcefully had to go because my thing was paused. So once it hits an hour, it just automatically reverts back to being played. And that was great. That was like perfect timing for me. Like, okay, let's get ready. Let's get to go. And now that I'm here, you know, the second half of the crossover event continued. I'm sorry to say a little bit that the Fed side of the crossover event so far, I know we're just 2 for 2. You're never really gonna count like advertisement for crossover events. I feel like in terms of just the overall crossover events, this definitely is the superior one in pacing and, you know, just how equal the story is on both sides, while also maintaining that it's still a respective episode of each of their shows. I will say a little bit that for me personally, the stakes in the first part were more higher than the second part, which is kind of a little bit similar to when we were in the last crossover. Where, like, of course, the rookie side of thing got the Rosalind part of the crossover, and then the Feds kind of got like the remaining connection leftover. And I don't mean to say like leftovers like it's a bad thing. Definitely with that one, it made sense for the rookie to handle the Rosalind stuff since they had the history already. It would be weird for like the Feds episode to have Rosalind, but then if you're just a rookie Golden Line fan, you would be understanding like what happened to Rosalind. And that's sometimes like my iffiness when it came to like, I haven't watched anything from Station 19, which is the Grey's Anatomy spin-off, because I don't even want to touch those beats because like they do so many crossover events. And I would get confused like, oh, what happened in the Station 19 side of things? Like, it's confusing for me because of just how well tight they are. The thing I appreciate about the rookie with their crossover so far is that each episode is standalone. You could just watch that and you would be inclined to see the next one, but it's not really like the end of the world thing because it's mostly like, okay, the next show is going to handle the resolution, or they're going to handle their own part of the crossover, which that's what I'm benefiting right now with the rookie side of things, where it's isolated, but it's also connected. Like if you watch them both back to back, it feels like a complete story with many twists and turns. But overall, in terms of like just it being also as a standalone Feds episode, it did really good. It continued on where we left off in the cliffhanger. It introduced a couple new elements, which I was like not even thinking about. And yeah, so I can't wait to see where things progress when both shows return back to its normal semi-isolated worlds next week. But for now, let's go into it and talk about the second part of the crossover event of Feds. But however, similar to the rookie side of thing, we have to pick up where the cliffhanger left off. What happened to Garza? He's been under heavy surgery for a while. So, the thing that they pitched with this episode, it kind of felt like, I don't know what the timeline is, because like of course they did this after, like I'm gonna say timeline wise in December. So I'm not sure if we're in January now or they're still in December, so it's before Christmas. I'm not entirely certain. I didn't see any Christmas decorations around on either episode, so it's up to questionability of when that takes place in the timeline. Although Juarez did confirm it is still 2022. Then again, the timelines have been a little bit murky with rookie and rookie Feds. You know, they kind of how things are, which again, I'm totally fine. They're just gonna take place in whatever year they're airing. But considering the fact they dropped it's 2022, I'm assuming this is still December-ish because of Garza's heart attack. So we're still in that. I don't know why I keep mentioning that, but Garza's been having surgeries. He's getting to a stable point, but they need to do another surgery on him to kind of like really make sure he's okay. So they phone in Simone, who is with Nolan in the battle room as they're planning on their next moves against Amy, the person who currently has the FBI list. Also because of Garza's condition, Carter is stepping in as temporary leader for the unit, as well as currently his division. So they're just like they're basically doing like a mini recap of the rookie side of things, as well as figuring out what is the next move for her now that the LAPD is kind of like taking their hands off the wheels here. I want to say I think eventually they get a lead on the woman. I think they found it eventually at a warehouse. After someone, they had an informant in, let them know that, oh yeah, I snuck this woman in. It's exactly a match to who you're looking for. Here's the location I dropped her off in. So they all head off there to the warehouse. They do. Yeah. So Nolan, Carter, and Simone, they head over there. They find her. A quick gunfight ensues. She's trying to make a getaway with no vehicle, with a bag full of money, trying to outrun three officers of the law. I'm just like, you did not think much of this ahead, did you? So she's trying to fight for her life. She's just trying to, like, you know, make sure she survives. And stupidly, she stops in the middle of an active roadway, and she gets hit by a car, and she's dead. And, like, all the money starts coming out, like, money's raining, which I'm like, only the Rookie universe can do this. Only the Rookie universe. Like, it doesn't feel, it feels like kind of, like, dramatic. Like, it's just, like, a sudden stop. And that's kind of, like, that was, like, my one issue where, like, it didn't really naturally keep going. Obviously, it was like as simple to write it off as like, oh, she just betrayed her partner. That's it. That's the simple explanation. But I don't know, like the way they were kind of like, you know, kind of elevating her up from the Rookie episode point of view. So I thought we were gonna get a little bit more story with her in this part, but no, they kind of shafted her aside to focus on like what the feds really need to focus on. Is like who bought the FBI list. But right now they're considering that side of the matter closed, so LAPD's involvement in this case is as closed, so no one is able to like go back to his normal duties. So they pass it on. Once again, the woman Brendan is trying to flirt with is on site to help out with the investigation, and Brendan's just like, you know, awkwardly trying to like make a conversation work, but again, he's just stuttering so much right now that it's not really working out to a T, to be honest with you. If we're gonna be logistical there. But however, they're just taking over the matter because like they don't have the list on hand anymore. So presumably the list was sold away because she had all that money on her. So now they got to figure out who bought the list and like where do they go from this point onward. Nolan is relieved of duty, so he's heading back over to the Rookie side of things. So he bids farewell to everyone else. He also gives Simone a little pat to like, you know, have a private conversation, which is mainly him like expressing his support that, you know, you've been doing so well as an FBI agent. It's been 3 months already, and you know you've been doing great. And yeah, Simone's like, you know, also like pulling him aside as well as like, hey, look, I got a little side project going because even though right now I'm still living with my pops, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to afford my own place anytime soon like you did, that I'm thinking about turning this empty part of the garage that's not really being used actively much to be kind of turned into like a mini apartment for me to kind of just still stay with my dad, but still like kind of begin to isolate her own identity, which is smart to say. And I was like down for at least an estimation to see if if he was willing to like, you know, jump over, which I'm like, no one is making the moves. Like, you know, he's got a side hustle going, and you know, honestly, I've worked with contractors before, so he can charge a pretty penny for, you know, that type of work, especially if he's one man. He's gonna get a lot of money from this, taking money from his friend. So she invites him out to dinner to like, you know, discuss plans to like look at the garage and like get an early estimation going. So they leave it up there. So just because Nolan's side of the investigation is over, he's still involved in the crossover, which is still fine, still very much fine. Again, more actively said than the other crossover event. So yeah, so I think we want to bounce back over to Garza a little bit. Obviously, his niece, which I forgot her name already, I apologize. She's just, you know, giving context with the rest of the Feds team as, you know, he's doing better. Hopefully he's able to go home tomorrow if, you know, his condition continues to improve. So it definitely is a good sign that he's out of the woodworks here finally. Yeah, but I think around this time period, yeah, so also we get like a weird kind of like, you know, meanwhile moment where like a fellow FBI agent who is known to be undercover to us, but not known to like the people he's also which I'm like, dude, this guy, this actor, I completely forgot his name. I've seen him in so many things. I've seen him in the Arrowverse. I've seen him on The 100. I know he was on another show on Stars. He's been everywhere. Like this guy, I know of him. He's not like a person that's like always leading, but it's like a familiar face, kind of like how I don't really have a good example here, but just like an actor like is just willing to like jump around in anywhere in any universe, and like, that's kind of how he is. And so he's trying to still play coy. He's a Fed, so he's trying to like infiltrate it. He's not at the cracking stage yet. He's still just like being part of the group, trying to like earn their trust a little bit. But of course he's getting notified that like he's getting kind of poached soon to like be exposed. Carter and Simone, Carter and Simone hit up a warehouse where they had a lead on where potentially the guy that has the information might have it. It's an abandoned warehouse, but they do find a burner phone where the guy calls them saying that like, I only have one demand and I will not release any names. You have to release this specific prisoner number, and that's it. You just bring him out in the open. I'll take care of the rest, and then you will have no leaks. Otherwise, as incentive, I'm leaking one right now. So everyone's on high alert back at the agency, trying to figure out like what do we do. Obviously, again, repeating from the last episode, Brendan recommends like why don't we just pull all the agents out right now and they'll be fine. And again, Carter's thinking of the larger picture. We're like, our own agents will be fine, but all of our CIs will be dead because the moment they notice that even if the list doesn't get leaked. You have to think about it like this. Like the CIs, the people that allowed the agents to kind of like have a little bit of trust to get into these organizations, immediately as they're saying, hey, these people are gone. Where do they go? They'll go to that guy. It's like, hey, you know this guy. Where the hell you go? And eventually they might get hurt. They might get killed. And it's going to cause like, regardless of that, they're going to lose a lot of context. So it's like, that's not the logistical approach or just to pull their agent. They got to think of the larger picture here. So they start pulling everyone. They start contacting everyone to try and pull someone. Eventually, the known guy, the agent, I don't know his actor's name. I apologize. He gets made, and I don't know why any of these gang members didn't have guns. Like they're just doing a chase scene, and I'm like, okay. As much as I like chase scenes, I love them to death. I'm like, this was unnecessary. Like, I'm pretty sure one of these gang members had to have a gun. And I'm pretty sure, like, they wanted to, like, stab him so, like, they could make it more painful for him and more, like, long-lasting. I'm pretty sure that was the case, but I'm like, still. He's a Fed. There's a chance he could have escaped, and y'all would have been fucked. So I'm like, if I was in that position, God forbid I will never be in that position, I would just shoot them. Like, that's the logical sense. So Brendan and Laura head over to the scene. Sadly, he's already been stabbed already. He's bleeding out a lot. It wasn't that long ago where he got stabbed, so the others go off to go find him. Brendan's trying to hold the wound, trying to like make sure he's alive, but he's just losing. He's just losing a lot of blood. He eventually dies in Brendan's arms, and it's similar to when I forgot when the first season Rookie happened. I know I just re-reviewed it, but like I forgot about the moment. But there was a moment where like there was a clear shock of like this was your first thing in your new career field and you're shocked by it, where like for Brendan this is the first time he's had a Feds agent die in his arms, and he's still like it's still emotional for him because like it's not something you can train for in the academy. It's something like you hopefully don't have to encounter on the field, but when you do, you're gonna have to hold your grip. Laura and the other agents managed to like capture the other dudes, and the one who actually did stab him was like claiming like I didn't do anything. It was self-defense. I didn't know he was like, an FBI agent. He was starting an issue. I defended myself, and yeah, I had to run because y'all the cops. What am I supposed to do? And he's laughing about the whole situation, even when the text is on his phone about the guy. He's still like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't even check my phone. You can't prove that I checked my phone. Actually, you could. I never seen like, you have to enlarge the photo. I know it's like not an iPhone, but like it could be, you could do it, but like they'll find something. But like how lawyers are, they'll find a loophole. If they call Saul Goodman, yeah, the Feds are fucked. But yeah, but he keeps laughing, and of course Brandon gets aggravated and wants to attack him, but obviously he has Laura pushes him back to hold his composure because like they cannot stoop to their level. They cannot like break any sort of attack. Because again, like he could also be charged for like insulting him just in general, because like that's how the law works. Like even though there are protocols and laws for a reason, like you got to follow them. But Brandon's immediately not happy with his friend. I want to say we just get to that night. By that point, they really can't do anything else, so they decided to Carter decided to call it a night. And then weirdly enough, I finally remember the girl's name now. And also, like, at the same time, like Brendan's like very eager, like, okay, I want to ask Antoinette on a proper date. I want to begin this romantic journey with her, move out of the coffee dates and like actually get to like a real date. And Laura's like, yeah, you should go for it. You've been waiting long enough. Like, yeah, like now's the time, if anything. So he's about to go tell her because like you're just like the confidence of like, not the confidence, like the shock of like losing someone like makes you remind how short life is. But when he's about to like express his emotions to Antoinette, Carter just steps in, takes her away, which is like kind of confusing, and also like, oh my god, this reminds me of something. But I'll say it for the end of the review, which leaves him a little bit baffled a bit. But yeah, so I want to say, yeah, so despite that, everyone going off to send home, Brandon decides to stay behind the office because again, he's so aggravated the fact that there really isn't anything they can do right now. Like obviously they can't touch the actual killer. The only thing they can do is go after the list, and even Brandon had to double check. Like, wait, so everything he said during the arrest, like, was that true? Like, is there a logical defense he could have to like so he can get away with the murder? And Carter just tells the truth, like, yeah, there is a chance. With the right lawyer, and if the circumstantial evidence is enough, then yeah, he's not denying he killed him, but he's gonna like act like, the emotional side's like, it gets to the finer details, like it's really hard to prove. It's not impossible, but it's really hard to prove. So there might be a chance he could get away with the murder scot-free, and that aggravates Brendan because like there's nothing he could do. All he could do right now is just make sure like the guy who started this entire thing can like go to jail and everything. So he's waiting on the cyber team. Eventually they do get a lead on the burner phone that was used to leak the photo of the guy that just died. So they get a clear face of the guy, and I'm like, dude, you should wear a face mask. I know COVID doesn't exist in the rookie world, but I'm like, come on, like you gotta cover your face. There's cameras everywhere, man. Like, you don't really know. There could be a camera outside my street right now, and I would be blindsided. But like, I always wear a mask when I leave home. Not to say I'm a criminal, just like that's just how I do things. So they get a lead. They put out a bowl on the guy. Simone cooks Nolan up a fantastic dinner. They're enjoying their company, and they're about to like get over to the garage so they can start doing the estimations. Cutter comes through immediately like, oh, you're on a date. Okay, I'll just leave you alone. And like, dude, you met this guy literally like 6 months ago. Like, you remember this dude? And he's like, oh yeah, Nolan, I forgot about you. I forgot. So at first it was like a little like nice, little bit formal. And Nolan actually drops the fact like, yeah, your daughter wants you to like renovate a part of your garage. He's like, whoa, hold on, I didn't agree to that. It's my house. Why is she giving the approval for you to go renovate a part of my house? And honestly, like, I do get both sides of things. Well, mostly I get Cutter's side of things, where like, yeah, if Simone wants to do it, she should have asked for permission. It wasn't something that was naturally assumed. And again, she wanted to keep this a secret and just wanted to like cover the cause. And again, it wasn't something that was like guaranteed. It was an idea. And of course, Cutter's just taking it the wrong way without, Simone explaining it to him properly. And that seems to be the thing that I understand. And also I kind of get a little bit sick about Cutter, to be honest with you, as a character, where like every time Simone wants to do something, he immediately gets insulted by it, backs away from her, and then by the end of the episode, he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, my emotions got the best of me. You were kind of right, but understand my point. So that breaks down. So now knowing what to do next, Simone goes to visit Garza, who's still recovering. He's doing well. He's already trying to get back involved in what's going on back in the office, but like they're like, nope, you gotta rest, you gotta recover. We want our boss to be around for a very long time, so please get enough rest. And Garza's like, I hate this. I hate being in a bed. I hate doing this. I just want to go home. I want to be back behind my desk and eat my big boy burgers. I don't think that was a thing in this universe. I don't even know where that came from, but I can go for a burger right now. But anyway, Simone goes out to go find some water for him, as well as, oh yeah, I forgot, there was that scene where Simone asked Garza for advice about like, just everything with her father. And even though I love the way Garza like sold the line of like, what did you do this time? And I'm just like, it's only been 3 months, but Garza already knows her bullshit. He already knows. And that's the great thing, that already, not even now 10 episodes in, and they already sold me on this idea months ago. We're like, yeah, this team is already like kind of like a mini family. Like, they know each other, they're calling each other out on their bullshit, and it's satisfying to see that. Like, yeah, like, I totally believe Garza and Simone are kind of close. Like, they're not close, like they're getting there, but like even Garza's like giving her advice on like what she should do with this scenario. So as a repayment, Simone tries to go get him some water. She come across a doctor who's like acting like, oh, I'm busy. I'm gonna go to the OR. Like I'll let a nurse go get it. However, she remembers the face quickly because she got to look at the bolo before she got there. So she heads over to to one of the rooms. She finds one of the guards on the floor, which is the same room as the second suspect from the rookie episode, who was I forgot about that scene where, like, Brendan and Laura tried to, like, make a deal with him to, like, get some information out of him, but he didn't really give anything. But that fake doctor was there to kill him. Simone gets attempt to get choked by him with a stethoscope, I think it was called. However, Simone manages to break free for a little bit. A brief fight ensued, but her gun gets knocked away. At first, Simone is seeming like she's gonna die, but Garza, with his vast intuition and his Hispanic prowess, his Latino prowess, attacks him from behind with his IV cane, and he's like, "I just wanted to get some damn water. I wasn't trying to be a badass or anything." But yeah, Garza saves the day. So they put him in custody, ready to go interrogate. And Garza's like immediately ready in his wheelchair, like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And everyone's like, no, you need to stand down. You need to rest because we want you to live for a very long time. And weirdly enough, Carter shows up with Antoinette, the woman that Brendan's been interested in. And yeah, honestly, like, I got to agree with Brendan. You're like, this is kind of weird. Like, hey, why are you two together? Like, you two suddenly appear together like you were just there. And yeah, and Antoinette just says, like, yeah, we were having coffee. I'm just like, bro, hey. Like, there's two ways of coffee. There's two ways. There's either the Luke Cage method where you're all fucking, or, apologies for my language, or you're all just having coffee. But anyway, who's getting coffee in the middle of the night? And like, honestly, when I say that, like, yeah, one of my friends does drink coffee at night, which I'm like, and I actually used to drink coffee at night. So I'm contradicting myself here. Moving on. So Brendan and Laura go to take him away to go, so Garza can get some rest. Even his niece shows up and is like immediately like, yeah, I'm not leaving your side until you're clocking out. Not clocking out, like when you have to check out. So I'm like, you ain't leaving the bed. And Garza's like, I hate this a lot. Simone and Carter go in to interrogate the doctor. And from what they can gather, he is not the big bad in this investigation, but he does mention that he was from Bogota and he was a soldier over there, that he came over to America to try to have like a normal life. But then someone from his past came by, kind of like threatened to like expose his past if he doesn't help him out with a task, which he was about to do. But then obviously he got caught by the feds. And that kind of ties it together because I forgot to mention that we had a scene back over at the feds HQ where they pulled in a prisoner, that the big boss, the big bad, was asking for, and he was just like kind of like a kid. He was like in his his early 20s. But I'm just like, I'm getting old, because I have to say I'm in my mid 20s, and I'm just like, I'm getting old. I am 25. In 5 years from that, I'll be 30. Anyway, moving on from my despairness. We're gonna move on here. So yeah, so that kid's very isolated, did not speak to anyone, was very reserved, and Simone, even with her guidance counselor pass, she only got a little bit out of him, but it wasn't enough to like really get any like substantial like information about him. But then eventually, when they connected back over with the soldier, this guy, the fake doctor, they do a little digging, and apparently this kid was part of kind of a resistance movement, like I forgot what the terminology is, but he was one of like a rogue military group, and he was a soldier there that he defected, and his brother was the leader and the founder of this entire military group. So he pitches the idea of like, yeah, I was my brother's right-hand man back in Bogota, and he sent me to America to get money and to get get RPGs and like weapons back over, so the conflict can last for decades. Even though he keeps claiming that we're trying to end and bring in new rule for Bogota, but the way it's like he's saying like he wants to keep this conflict going for a decade, which I'm like, kind of the opposite. But then again, yeah, like when you're in war, like yeah, there's armed dealers are the ones making the money, and he's tired of this, like cause like all this violence is not going to stop the conflicts. It's just creating more conflicts. So he had enough of it. He tried running away, but it didn't really work because he kept finding him everywhere. So eventually he just decided to commit a federal crime, so he gets sent to a federal prison. But even then, they found him, and now he's just like, yeah, I'm doomed. Because either all your friends die, or I'm going to get tortured, because once I had to change of heart, well, not like a big change of heart, but like somewhat of a change, like he made a whole new account with the money he was given from him, and he's the only one with the password. So that's only the real reason they want him out, so they can get the password. So Simone has a plan to draw him out. So she gets the password from him to use as bait to like eventually draw the big boss out in the open. Because like again, even though he'll have the money on him, he still needs to buy all the weapons that his brother was originally planning on getting. So they get another call from him. They make the deal. They give him the password so that he could stop releasing information. He sort of agrees. He gets the account, and like, yeah, he doesn't do anything, and he just, focuses now that he has the money. He meets up with his weapons guy. It seems like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to Bogota. I'm gonna go back to normal. Everything's gonna be fine. But everyone pulls in. They arrest him, and yeah, it's over. The entire thing is done for. I want to say if there's anything else I'm missing before we wrap it up. Yeah, no, that was it. That was the end of the matter. Like, yeah, they arrest him. It's all over. And also, yeah, they are giving the kid an amnesty deal, so that regardless of what happens, he could still have a fresh life here in America, should he choose to. So everything that he did prior would not affect him, would not really harm him in the end, which is, kind for them to do, really. They don't really need to do that, but they did. Well, mostly Simone did, so. Anyway, so Garza's about to head home. He's about to get back to duty eventually, but like, yeah, like, and in true Hispanic fashion, like, yeah, all your siblings are home. They cooked you a feast. They cleaned your house, and they're ready to yell at you for the pigsty of your apartment. He's like, no, never mind, I'm done. Take me home. Let me stay here. This is better than speaking to my sister, which I'm like, damn, bro. Actually, I can relate to it. I mean, I only have one sister, but like, even, no, whatever. We're not gonna get into that right now. But anyway. Where do we go from here? So yeah, so the night's ending. Brendan's happy that the entire ordeal is over and that the fallen agent can still have a nice funeral. That everyone involved in his murder are behind bars. But sadly, Laura breaks through and is like, well, he's only gonna have a quiet funeral. We can't have a public funeral for him because technically, even though yes, he's dead, no one really knows 100% the true story, so technically he could still be an asset to us from beyond the grave. Like, they'll probably pick up his investigation with someone else, and they'll keep any connections he's made, like, going. Which is a little disrespectful, but again, it still goes back to the question, like, they gotta figure out the larger picture here. Like, yes, this guy should deserve a public funeral, but the problem is that he was part of this investigation. He kind of has to, like, they gotta have to kind of keep that going regardless, so. It sucks, but, Brendan's like, you can't win them all. But he can try to, like, finally get Antoinette, regardless of whatever she was doing with Carter, to take her on a date. And he's ready for that. So he goes downstairs, he's ready to ask her out, and then Carter's already there making jokes with her, and, like, they're just insinuating to leave again together, which I'm like, I feel that. I feel Brendan's pain. I feel him. Not in that way. So, yeah, I had an experience like that where like I was ready to like finally take the next step with someone, then I see them with someone else, and yeah, it sucks. It sucks. The feelings and again, like here's the thing, like it's not technically confirmed until it comes out of either of their mouths. But again, Antoinette is single. If she is just dating Carter like as a dating thing, then she's totally fine to do so. Like it's not like Brandon and her were already a thing. So it's like, yeah, it hurts the feelings, but then again, you kind of have to make your move before anything happens. So that is the matter on that case. But anyway, yeah, so I think after that, I want to say, yeah, so we head back over to Simone's house. She's ready to apologize to Cutter. And Cutter's like, again, like the traditional Cutter, like, I'm sorry I reacted. You are technically right. You should have a say in customizing the place to yourself, because eventually, whenever I do pass, the house will be yours. And you're allowed by that point to like do whatever you want with the house. It's just, again, he doesn't want to think about that because like he's old, and like, the feeling of like having to pass it on to his daughter and his grandkids are like, it's natural. It's going to happen. But the thing is that he's just not ready to accept it. And he will accept it in due time, but it's just like, it still hurts him a bit. But as a makeup for his reaction, he invites back over Nolan, where, yeah, with the agreement of like getting some of Cutter's Bakery's baked goods for free. Yeah, Nolan decides like, yeah, I'm gonna do your project. Like, let's do an estimation. Let's get this on the move here. Which I'm like, great. That's sounds like a great plan over there. And again, like, I love Nolan and Simone's banter. I really do. It's like, they're meant to be friends. They really are. And like, they just work well with each other. It's like, I love like. These moments were like, yeah, even though like I feel like Feds got a little bit short shafted a bit on the crossover aspect, it's these moments of like kind of like make me smile a bit. Like, yeah, that the rookie universe is like as strong as a T. But yeah, but that was it for this week's episode of the Rookie Feds and the crossover event that has been hyped about for the last month. Yeah, so reviewing it on a two-front here as a Feds episode, it was really good. Continuing Garza's storyline, thankfully keeping him safe. Thank God. You know, we can't lose our Garza. Giving Carter an opportunity to like actually step in the forefront, actually be a leader. It definitely reminds him of like what he was missing out whenever he got passed over on promotions. Even when Tracy tries to like tell him like, oh, don't worry, your time will come. And Carter's like, yeah, no, my time has come multiple times. Y'all just passed me over. So that's not on me, that's on you. And he'll gladly do it again for Garza, but you know, when the moment comes where he actually is ready to be a leader, it's when, you know, they want him to be, which it doesn't seem like indicated anytime soon. Brendan having to learn a lesson that's similar to mine is like, it makes me feel for Brendan. Like the more that we get to spend time for me with Brendan, it just makes me connect with him more. Like Simone is amazing. She's great. She's hilarious. And she's our lead. But Brendan's like the one I can really like slowly connect to. I mean, I'm not an actor or anything. I'm not saying that at all, but like, he's starting to learn lessons like it eerily familiar to me. And I don't even think like my favorite show of all time, which is How I Met Your Mother, which you should go watch our series review on, over at ActionX as well. It's our 100 episode from like many, many moons ago. When I was watching that show, there never was that moment where like where the main character Ted was like looking at someone like he missed his opportunity. Like I feel like he's always had his opportunities, it just wasn't the right opportunities. I never seen that. And like now Brendan's kind of going through and like we don't really know what the aftermath is going to be of that. We don't really know what those meetings or coffee dates are, but you know, it is definitely something that he's going to have to go through and definitely something he has to like, you know, experience. So we'll see how that all goes. And yeah. Again, this is still selling. I mean, like the Feds family is like becoming stronger than ever, and I'm really happy to see. I'm really happy to see. In terms of a crossover, again, it similar to the last crossover. I feel like the Feds side of it got a little short staffed. It seemed like the more hype, the more action path stuff was saved for the rookie, which again it makes sense because like, it was the first hour, so you have to kind of be lured in a little bit. But it would be nice for like Feds to like get a little bit more of like the bigger bones. Not to say they didn't have any bone, but it just felt like the way the rookie side of things was ending didn't really get properly picked up in Feds. Like, you know, the only connection character between, in this case, was killed off in the first 2 minutes. I found that to be a little bit insultful, just in terms of like, I felt like she was going to get a bigger part. But regardless of how that really works out, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I feel like it was intriguing to like, you know, have this secondary villain like be the new villain, and it was cool. I guess that's all I really got to say about that front. You know, in terms of crossover ranking them, this definitely was the superior one compared to the last one, because this felt like a crossover. We actually felt the characters interacting with other characters. I still need a Gray and Garza scene. I think we got one in the backdoor pilot. I think so. I could be wrong, but we need a proper scene with that. We need the two leaders, you know, that doesn't take no bullshit, but it has a lovable heart. We need them to like take a scene together, and hopefully that'll be in the next crossover. Hopefully, but we'll see about that. But overall, in terms of like a Feds episode, I'm giving this 2 thumbs up. In terms of a crossover episode, it's 2 thumbs up as well, but just a very light 2 thumbs up. Just like the Feds side of things just lacked a little bit in my opinion, but better than the last one. I'll give it that. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Rookie Feds and the crossover event in general? Let's have a conversation down below. And I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the hopeful first season of Rookie Feds. If you want to know what we're doing normally in What's the Two, besides our What's the Two episode, our Rookie Feds episode reviews, we're obviously doing rookie episode reviews that come out every Tuesday nights after a brand new episode, and also on Tuesday nights on ABC. This week, we're wrapping up our Doom Patrol reviews for now on Friday mornings. And then also next week, we'll be back with Walker. But if you don't care about Feds, you're in luck. We'll be back next week on Wednesday morning with another brand new episode review. So hopefully you'll tune in for there. But until then, I'm going to go take a nap now because I'm really tired. But until next time, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Again, please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode reviews live. Please also like, favorite, share if you want to, and as well as follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you members of the Fed family, I'll see you all next week for the next episode review. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always,